was for that home, my home, to be kind of an asset for the family eventually when I'm built out on the property. It was never supposed to end up being something that was just mine.
When I put the money into the house, I said, well, I think it would be fair if all of our names were on the and he's like, no, we need to protect Robyn's estate. She needs to have it so it's hers, so it's ours. So with me leaving or trying to go somewhere and do something different, I want my value of the property. And I'd like to recoup some of the money I put into Robyn's house.
Hi friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Thursday, October 3rd, 2024. Janelle, Kody, and Robyn Brown's fight over money is heating up, and it's getting to a point where this could become a criminal investigation. And this fight over money could be a reason why Kody and Robyn are unloading their house to get ahead of possible fraud charges. Ooh, all speculation, all alleged. But let's dive into this. A couple weeks ago on Sister Wives, as you saw in the very beginning of this video, Janelle explained that she had given money to Kody and Robyn for a down payment for their house. She explained that she felt like if she was going to put money into a house, she should be on the mortgage. She then explained that Kody told her that she could not be on the mortgage and that this home needed to be in a estate for Robyn. Robyn then claimed she had no idea how she would ever know how much money she owes to Janelle. Like, how would you even quantify that? Because we've always worked together. Kody didn't seem to have anything to say about this. And I thought that was so weird. Kody's not saying anything because if he admits that he took money from Janelle and it was not a gift, but it was a loan, Kody could go to prison. Kody could have very well committed mortgage fraud because Kody didn't have the capital he needed, meaning the down payment required in order to purchase his home. In order to buy the home, he likely had to have Mary and Janelle sign gift letters, meaning that they were giving him money for the down payment of the home with absolutely no intention that the money would ever be repaid. This is why Kody would tell Janelle, you can't be on the mortgage. It's only for Robyn. The only way that Kody would be able to use Janelle's money for a down payment and for a bank to trace the source of the money would be for Janelle to sign a gift letter. Janelle would have to claim to a bank and sign a document to a bank that she has no intention to the bank that she would actually recoup this money. If she knew that this was a false statement, she filed a false statement with a bank, which becomes legally binding once it's recorded. But it's Kody and Robyn that would actually be on the hook. And so I've often wondered, why are we 2 years into her leaving and why hasn't she sued? Well, criminal exposure. And I think the reason why Kody is being very obviously quiet about this is because if he admits this, he could go to prison. So I did some digging for you to understand what the laws are regarding fraud. Now, federally, there is a 10-year statute of limitations, meaning it provides 10 years for a violation of or a conspiracy to violate the mail or wire fraud statutes if the offense affects a financial institution. Moreover, the 10-year statute applies to offenses committed prior to enactment of FIRREA, provided the provisional applicable statute of limitations are not run as the date of FIRREA, blah, blah. So there's a law basically that says if you provide false information to a banking institution in order to obtain money, and you do this knowingly, and you use wiring or mail, meaning they're not only filing false documents, which is mortgage fraud, but the money has to be wired, which is wire fraud. And that's a really big charge. And it carries like a 20-year sentence in prison. So does bank fraud. So what happens if Kody and Robyn, say, filed a false document or misrepresented documents or assets, income, or down payment money to a lender? could they be held on the hook? Well, let's talk about what is it? Loan fraud. What is it? Loan fraud includes making false representations to a lender in order to obtain a loan of a larger amount or on a more favorable term than a borrower is otherwise qualified for under the lender's guidelines. Loan fraud is a federal crime, punishable by up to 30 years in prison and a $1 million fine. In the past, most loan frauds consisted of a single transaction in which the purpose of the fraud was to get a particular buyer into a particular property that the buyer could not otherwise afford. Some examples of this single transaction type of loan fraud include the following: a false gift letter. A false gift letter is created so that it appears that the funds being provided to the borrower by another party are a gift, when in fact the funds are being offered as a loan and repayment is expected. It is illegal to repay gift money. You cannot repay a gift. This is a type of mortgage fraud and it is a criminal offense. Gift money must be freely given and there must be no expectation of repayment. Otherwise, it's a loan, which is much different and may disqualify you from mortgage approval. In order for someone to use gift money, they have to provide a letter to the mortgage company signed by the buyer and the gifter with a statement that the money has no intention of being repaid. Now, here's where the crime occurs. If Kody told Janelle, I just need this money and I'll pay you back, we'll get you that house, whatever way he tried to manipulate her to do this, right? She tried to do the right thing. She did. She tried to get herself to be on the home because she knew that the money she gave was not a gift. So when she says, I asked to be on the mortgage and he said no, it's because she had no intention of that money being a gift. She wanted to have a stake in this property. Kody said, no, this is for Robyn. So Janelle went along with it. So obviously the money was a gift, but she is not saying that. So if Kody intentionally misled a banking institution in order to get into this house, and he did this by having money that was actually money he owed to Janelle as a gift, he could go to prison. And when someone actually commits loan fraud, the federal mortgage fraud laws are vast and they're not just about bank fraud. They can include bank fraud, wire fraud, mail fraud, tax fraud, and conspiracy to commit fraud. Defrauding a bank and a financial institution is a serious crime. False representations to banks can not only increase default rates. So Kody and Robyn can't afford this house because they didn't have the money to buy the house and they had to use someone else's money. They lied to a bank and said that the money was a gift, when Janelle and Mary are clearly stating on the show it was not a gift. And the real reason that Kody and Robyn want Janelle to come back into the family is because if she leaves, they can go to prison. If she stays in their good graces and she stays in their fold, she's not going to turn them in. She's not going to rat them out. And he can give them money by using his manipulative tactics so that she stays with him. And I think where he got greedy and he bet and lost was when he refused to help her pay off the property so that she could build when she wanted to build. And instead, she had to take out a loan to get an RV. And then still they fought over Coyote Pass. And to this day, they did pay off Coyote Pass, but no assets have been split. And to be clear, nothing illegal was done with what happened at Coyote Pass because it's all paid off. It was with a private person and their names are all still on the property. When it came to that property, they did things the legal way because Janelle was included in the title on these and on the loan. And same with Robyn. Robyn was included on the title and on the loan. But in the case of the house, it's completely different because they left Janelle off the loan, but they told Janelle it was a loan. They fully intended to pay her back. And this is why they keep saying, well, we've always done this for the family. It's always worked this way. We've always just thrown here and helped there and done this and done that. But has he really? He hasn't. He's never really done that. And I think they're lying because they know that they committed fraud. I told you before that people get arrested all the time for the crap that they pull on reality television. I can't believe that Kody and Robyn haven't been arrested for this. The reason why these crimes are serious is because when you misrepresent facts to a mortgage company to get a mortgage on a home that you can't afford, it increases your risk of defaulting on the loan. It increases your risk of not only defaulting, but not being able to keep up with the maintenance of the home, which would then depreciate the home's value, which then puts the lender at further risk in the event that you were to sell the home. So, for instance, if Kody and Robyn misrepresented the money to them, and then they get in this house and they don't do anything to fix the house, and the house needs, a new deck and it has mold, and you're not fixing any of that, you're depreciating the value of the home. And when you sign a loan with a lender, you agree that you're not going to cause harm to a home that would cause it to depreciate it, and you're going to keep up with the maintenance of the home while you have the loan so as to not depreciate the value of the home. You can't just let things go on a home you own when you have a lender. So what ends up happening is the home is sold and the bank loses out on the equity of the home if, say, it goes into foreclosure. If they default on the loan, the bank loses money on the loan because they don't get the money back. And then when a house goes into foreclosure, the houses don't sell for a foreclosed house doesn't go for the going rate of a home that's not foreclosed. So the bank loses money. That fraud then impacts all buyers. That fraud then trickles down to other buyers like you and me, and it makes it harder for you and me to qualify. So we're going to have to go through more hoops to provide more information so that we can qualify for houses when we've not committed any crimes. So there might be guidelines that go into effect regarding documents that you have to provide. Maybe whereas one year you only had to provide 1 year of W-2s or tax returns, now you have to provide 4. It makes it harder for the average person, the average honest buyer, to then buy the house and qualify. It impacts everyone. That's why it's a serious crime. Now, the average person that's charged with this, the sentence isn't 30 years. I think I read it's about 14 months. But here's what the penalties are. According to United States sentencing guidelines, more than 74.1% of mortgage fraud offenders were sentenced to prison with an average prison sentence of 14 months. There are many different charges the federal prosecutors may use to punish white-collar crimes of mortgage fraud. A conviction on some mortgage fraud charges can lead to penalties as serious as having a federal felony criminal record, a fine of up to $1 million, up to 30 years in prison, and restitution, meaning paying back the amount of the money defrauded. In 2009, the Fraud Enforcement Recovery Act was passed, which gives the federal government more options to prosecute mortgage fraud claims against borrowers, financial institutions, and mortgage lenders. So when the housing market crashed after 2008, all these new laws went into place, which is why it's harder for you and I to qualify for loans today. So Kody defrauded a bank by claiming that he got money for the down payment as a gift when he didn't. The bank in turn lent him almost $700,000. Today, Kody's selling that home, and there's clear deficiencies to the home that he absolutely cannot afford to fix, because if he could afford to fix his broken deck and possible mold in his bathroom and the tile that's in the house, and remember that whole permit that he pulled up for more propane and the upgrades that the property needed that he couldn't finish? Yeah, that's right. He tried to do a new roof and upgrades on the electrical circuits and all the propane stuff and for the driveway. So basically the driveway is probably not working very well these days because he was going to try to fix it, but then they didn't actually fix it. The permit expired, meaning he couldn't fund it. He didn't have the money to pay for it. Kody is selling the house because he doesn't have the money to manage the maintenance of the home, and because he owes people money, and because he committed mortgage fraud. This is what happens in polygamy. This is why in many states out west, this is why it's criminalized, because this is what they do. The men use the women to defraud the government through a variety of measures, through mortgage fraud, through food stamps fraud, through welfare fraud. They bleed the beast. And Kody and his cult doesn't think that there's anything wrong with this because they believe fundamentally that if they can impact the federal government by bankrupting them they've won. They want to weaken our financial institutions. They want to weaken how much money the federal government has so that so it collapses. That's what bleeding the beast is. It's part of what they do. They believe if they can strip money and steal from the federal government, because all of these loans are backed by federal government, they've won. So they don't look at it as a crime, but these are the kinds of crimes they commit. So the real reason she hasn't taken him to court is because this is not a civil case. This is a criminal case. And she knows it, and he knows it. They all know it. She has no leg to stand on, and Kody knows that too. Kody knows as long as Janelle stays silent, he'll never go to prison, which is why Robyn and him are desperate to make sure that she doesn't leave him. It is about money, but it's not about her income. It's about the money she gave them. And that money was obtained fraudulently. And if she leaves, she can turn them in. Janelle could be brought in on the conspiracy, but because she's actually getting ripped off by Kody, they're more likely to have her as a witness. They're more likely to use her as, like, the person that flips on Kody. That's why he's desperate to keep Janelle in his fold, because Janelle is the person that knows where all the bones are buried when it comes to the finances. And her walking out the door means that their exposure to prison time is exponentially higher. It has nothing to do with the fact that they want her income and everything to do with the fact that they don't want to go to prison. And that's my opinion. And that's why this has never gone to court. Because if Janelle goes to court, it'll be in as a witness in a criminal trial in the federal court. And the feds don't lose. If I were the Browns, I would be really, if I were Kody Brown, I would be so shaking in my boots about this. And it's no wonder he has said nothing about it on the show, because any admission to this can be used against him. Robyn better keep her mouth shut, but it's out of the bag now. They're screwed. So Janelle, why don't you turn them in, Janelle? Contact the authorities. Let them know they committed fraud. Do the right thing. And then maybe you'll get your money. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and click the bell so you never miss a video. Bye, everyone.